live on your tablet, phone, and the KUTV app. This is 2 News Live.
Hi, thanks for joining us for 2 News Live. I'm Jamie McGriff. Brian Schnee is off today. It's Friday, September 15th, and we are going in depth tonight on the high-profile case involving Ruby Franke and Jodi Hildebrandt. These are the two YouTubers accused of child abuse. They're going to be appearing in court in St. George, and we're also going to be going in depth on some of the changes by Delta Airlines that could seriously impact its most loyal customers. And if you've been anywhere on social media, folks are mad about it. Okay, so before we dive in, here's a look at what's making headlines right now. Salt Lake County District Attorney Sim Gill rules an officer-involved shooting in Salt Lake City was justified. In March of 2022, Salt Lake police exchanged gunfire with a carjacking suspect, 38-year-old Idaho resident Michael Sislak, and this is following a chase. Gill says that Sislak fired at least 8 shots at police before they shot him. The officer who shot him will not face charges. 2 people are in the hospital following a 3-vehicle crash in Weber County. The Weber Fire District reports one person was pinned in one of the cars. First responders were able to pull them out. The cause of the crash is still under investigation. And for the first time this year, Salt Lake County, the health department, saying that someone has tested positive for West Nile virus. The infected person is an adult who is now in the hospital getting treated. 3 others in Utah have also tested positive this summer. All 3 of them live in northern Utah. And with just a few weeks left in the season, Lagoon opening up a brand new roller coaster. Check this out. Guests can ride the Primordial for the first time. The ride lasts about 5 minutes. It has a top speed of 40 miles per hour, and Lagoon has been working on this ride since 2015. As we go in depth tonight, you can always get in touch with us during the show. You can use the hashtag 2NewsLive to join in the conversation. And you can also check on Brian Schnee's Facebook page along with Twitter and Instagram. You can also send him a direct message to weigh in. We're following new developments in the case of 2 YouTubers accused of child abuse. A new subpoena seeks information about the victims in this case. Ruby Franke and Jodi Hildebrandt were arrested August 31st after police say 2 of Franke's children were found malnourished and with deep cuts from being tied up. Last Friday, both women appeared in court virtually for the first time, and this week we spoke to several family members and past clients. On Monday, the 2 are scheduled for another court hearing in St. George. And new late this week, prosecutors are now asking for medical records for the 2 children at the center of this case. Daniel Woodruff is joining us live with the latest. And Daniel, what does that subpoena say?
Well, Jamie, it basically says that prosecutors want medical records for the 12-year-old boy and the 10-year-old girl of Ruby Franke, who prosecutors say were victims of child abuse. Prosecutors did file that subpoena. At last check, I looked, and a judge had not signed it yet, but he was expected to do that within 24 to 48 hours of when they filed it, which was yesterday. So really any time now he's expected to sign that. And the subpoena really just wants these medical records from the St. George Regional Medical Center for these 2 children. The prosecutors are telling the hospital that they're important records and relevant and material for a criminal matter, for a criminal investigation. This, of course, coming a few days before Ruby Franke and Jodi Hildebrandt are due back in court on their aggravated child abuse case.
This is a very disturbing case, and for the most part, reaction from this case in general public terms, people are really concerned.
They are, yeah. It's gotten a lot of attention. I did talk to a former prosecutor today and a current defense attorney, and he told me that this case has really captured people's attention because it involves children. He said he's seen a lot of gruesome things over the years and heard a lot, but he says every single time it involves children, that's guaranteed to get the public invested in it. Now, what to expect for this hearing on Monday? It's going to be a status update for Jodi Hildebrandt and Ruby Franke, but the big question here to be determined on Monday, will they be let out on bail? The guy that I spoke with, the former prosecutor, he said it's possible they could be let out, but it's really too early to say and too difficult to predict because there's so much that still could be shared in court that hasn't yet. So we'll see what happens on Monday, but this is really the big question. They've been in jail now more than 2 weeks since being arrested on August 31st. Will a judge decide, are they a flight risk? Are they a risk to the community? And then from that, he'll decide what to do in terms of either letting them out on bail, maybe with restrictions, or keeping them in the Washington County Jail.
All right, Daniel Woodruff, thank you for that report. And of course, remember, on our YouTube channel right now, we have 8 Passengers playlist with a lot of our coverage, including some of the people that we've spoken with in the last few days, and that includes Jodi Hildebrandt's niece, Jessie. You can find all of that on our YouTube channel. As Daniel mentioned, the two will be in court Monday. Jim Spiewak will be heading to St. George to cover that, and make sure to stick with 2 News as we learn new developments. All right, after all of that heavy discussion, let's lighten the topic a little bit because it's beautiful outside, absolutely beautiful. Our roof cam here on the top of Wells Fargo building in downtown Salt Lake. Lots of sunshine. Temperatures in the low 80s. I just get this impression that pretty soon we're going to say bye-bye and have to bring out the sweaters.
It's coming. It is mid-September now.
Yeah.
But we're seeing right here in downtown Salt Lake City, there's a big window in front of us, and folks are coming downtown, closing off main streets.
Yes.
The weather's going to be perfect if you're going to head out this evening.
Today is the day to go outside.
It is. Hopefully you have those outdoor plans this weekend. Okay, behind us, Jamie, this is a little taste of fall up Immigration Canyon. Now, we're still several weeks away from peak fall foliage, especially those golden aspens that we all love. That's really in early October. But if you head up Immigration Canyon here in Salt Lake City, you're starting to see little patches of little orange and red.
The change is happening.
It is, and it's beautiful. I think some of the best time of the year, in my opinion, is right when we transition into fall, and we're seeing that. So let's get right to your forecast. What you need to know if you're headed up into the mountains, Oktoberfest is going on this weekend. Very busy always at Snowbird, but you'll start to see again some of those fall colors, just the beginning. The weather, though, looks really nice. Still bring a light jacket. Of course, temperatures, we'll see highs in the 60s, but once the sun goes down, it gets cold up in the mountains. Snowbird, we're talking about, elevation at about 8,000 feet. But again, no threat of any thunderstorms to really worry about. We've had some moisture in Utah. That moisture is beginning to pull out as drier air moves in. Still enough to spark off some isolated showers across south central and southeastern Utah. Right now, the heaviest rain has been near Blanding, and that's drifting towards the south near the Four Corners. But give it another couple more hours, these showers are going to be long gone. And again, nothing really going on thunderstorm-wise as we head into the weekend. Tonight, we have those longer nights now in mid-September, so we can really cool things off. We'll be dipping down into the 40s and 50s for overnight lows across northern and central Utah. Tonight in St. George coming in at 62 degrees. Tomorrow, maybe a degree or 2 warmer. We'll rebound to 91 in St. George. But again, it takes longer to warm things up, so the first half of the day will not be hot in St. George, but the afternoon will be in the 90s. Now, central Utah will be in the upper 70s, low to mid 80s along the Wasatch Front. Park City coming in at 74 degrees. Again, get outside. Hit those national parks. We've had a risk of flash flooding. We've had some flash flooding this week. Not this weekend, so you don't have to worry about that. Arches and Canyonlands in the low to mid 80s this weekend. Capitol Reef well into the 70s. Beautiful, pleasant hiking weather at Bryce Canyon in the 60s. Wear your sunscreen, though. There's lots of sun out there. Zion will likely be in the low 90s for highs, so getting a little warm in the afternoon. You can thank this ridge of high pressure keeping things mild and dry through the weekend and into early next week. But we're watching something. We'll see how it develops. But all the computer models are indicating some sort of fall storm bringing in some cooler temperatures maybe by the end of next week. Here's the latest. The storm could drop to the south and then push into Utah later in the week and into maybe next weekend with a chance for some valley rain. And we might even get some mountain snow, but that is common this time of year. St. George. Low to mid 90s through the weekend and into early next week. Very sunny for the next 5 days. Winds begin to increase. Wednesday, Thursday, we're in the 80s. And St. George could drop into the 70s by the end of the week. But right now, I'm not seeing really any rain making its way down into southern Utah. Now here in northern Utah, mid 80s through the weekend. Monday might be our warmest day at 87 degrees. Few clouds rolling in, 83 on Tuesday. And then our temperatures will be dropping a few degrees by Wednesday and Thursday into the 70s. Doesn't look like a washout, Jamie, but again, a chance for those pop-up thunderstorms as that storm gets a little bit closer, and then highs cooling off into the 60s by Friday. So
is this
80s
the end?
to 60s. I don't know if this is the end.
Okay.
We typically see this cool down, and then we might go back up. We'll see.
All right. Well,
but it's coming.
Yeah, it's coming, whether we like it or not.
I know.
All right, thanks, Chase. Well, as we head into the weekend, remember to download our 2 News weather app. And to know about those changes in your neighborhood, you can get those updated forecasts and live radar right on your phone, and the app is free to download. Okay, so now let's talk about what's happening in the skies when the airlines come into play here. This company here, Delta Airlines, well, Salt Lake City is dominated by Delta. The Delta Center is back, and the airline has made significant investments in the area, like a new pilot training center. But earlier this week, Delta made some changes that could seriously impact its most loyal customers. Have you heard about it? Well, Lincoln Graves and I certainly talked about it earlier today. He's joining us live now with what's happening and what this means for you and me and anybody else who wants to travel.
Yeah, Jamie, you know, first of all, if you're just sort of a casual traveler, you don't fly all that often, it's really not going to impact you. It probably won't impact most people, but because Delta or Salt Lake is a Delta hub, there could be quite a few people in our area impacted by this. So there's 2 major changes we're talking about. People earning status through the airline, but also being allowed into the airline's sky clubs inside of the airport. So those are the 2 big changes. They're going to make it harder to earn status, and they're going to kind of tighten access to those sky clubs because they've gotten really crowded over the past several years. Now, in terms of making it harder to reach status, it's a complicated mix of how you earn status right now. Suffice it to say, they're going to make it harder and they're going to make it more expensive. It's solely going to be decided on how much you spend with the airline. So to get the lowest status level, Jamie, we're talking about spending $6,000 on Delta flights during 1 calendar year. For most people, that is a really, really steep climb. So again, that's the minimum level of status. To reach the maximum level, we're talking about $35,000. So some really steep prices, Jamie.
Oh, that hurts a lot of feelings out there, no doubt. And the fact that we have seen so much chatter about this on social media, wow. And has there been any kind of response to from the company about this?
You know, the company really did expect backlash. That's what I've heard from travel analysts and travel journalists. So far, there's been no direct answer to some of the criticism we're seeing on social media. A lot of people are saying, a lot of those in the travel industry are saying, look, this is by design. Delta has a reputation. If you consider there to be a luxury airline in the U.S., they have a reputation of being closest to that while not being totally luxury. And they want to match that reputation, and that means sort of thinning the elite status ranks. There's a lot of people with elite status right now, and so the saying is, if everyone is elite, no one is elite. So they're going for exclusivity here, according to travel analysts, and the idea is that this may definitely reduce those people with status, so we'll see what happens in the next year or 2.
Might be time to invest in some stock, if that is the case. All right, Lincoln Graves, thank you so much for that report. It'll be interesting to see how Delta flies through turbulence of disgruntled, loyal passengers. All right, we want to hear from you at home. Grab your phone, scan the QR code on your screen to vote on our poll. What kind of airline rewards programs do you use? And so 46% of you say you don't fly enough for rewards, and then the next highest, they're saying, yes, we have frequent flyer programs. And then you have those who say they use credit card rewards, and then 4% through your employer. Nice. All right, now taking a look at what's trending on our website. A few top stories. An investigation underway in Davis County after a disturbing video surfaced showing 2 horses tied to the back of a pickup truck and then being dragged down a residential street. Man, that's hard to look at. YouTube has removed 2 channels linked to Ruby Franke and her business partner Jodi Hildebrandt, and this is over child abuse charges. The company confirms the 2 will no longer be able to create content on the platform. The man who inspired the movie Sound of Freedom is being strongly rebuked by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. A statement from the church says Tim Ballard used the names of high-ranking church leaders for personal and financial interest. Paul Nelson will have a live report on this story coming up on 2 News at 6. And remember, all of these stories are on our KUTV mobile app, which you can download on your Apple App Store or on Google Play. All right, so downtown Salt Lake right now is buzzing with a lot of foot traffic because Open Streets, that program, is back. So during the hours of noon to 1 a.m., cars are not going to be allowed on Main Street from 400 South to South Temple. The fall edition of Open Streets is happening tonight and is running through October 28th, and this is going to be on Fridays and Saturdays. City leaders are saying the initiative aims to transform Main Street into an urban playground. And this year, Open Streets will include a mini golf course, which I think is not too far away from our studios.
I'm going.
There's also a silent disco in shipping containers, a pop-up yoga park, and live music, so much more. And of course, you know, food is the other thing that we always like to look forward to. And we have a live look right now. This is from our Wells Fargo camera. Well, we did have that banner that just kind of popped up there, but just wanted to kind of give you, okay, so if you look closely there, that blue, those are actually umbrellas, if I'm not mistaken, or near umbrellas. Well, maybe not. Looking down, that actually might be the...
We can see the umbrellas from the 2 News studio right here, but you know, there's a lot of little pop-ups going on.
And it looks like it's the Open Street. You know what? Those are like the Open Streets banners saying,
banners,
hey,
yeah.
you know.
There's a live band already performing. I mean, Main Street, I mean, if you work downtown, you never drive on Main Street because there's really no reason to. So this is good news. I like this idea.
I'm guilty because
You are guilty.
sometimes I do drive down Main Street.
Right when you moved here, I'm like, okay, a little secret, don't drive down Main Street because there's a light every 20 feet.
Yeah,
you know,
I
so you
figured
get
that
stuck
out the
around
hard
that.
way.
But yeah, this is going to be fun. And then the weather's going to be perfect this weekend. So, you know, I hope people come downtown and check out all the fun activities along Main Street. There's a lot to do.
And we can hear the music too. So there's something, if you're just bored and you just want to people watch, this is it. You can people watch. And also a reminder, you can find KUTV 2 News live on your phone, tablet, or TV. And you can stream our newscasts on the KUTV mobile app, Stir, and News On, and YouTube. And they're all free to download in the Apple App Store or Google Play. All right, so that's going to do it here for us on 2 News Live. And we will be here Monday, 5:30, Monday through Friday.
Yeah. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Yeah. Have a good one. And we're going to talk more again on the in-depth conversations on topics that impact you and your family. Take care.
Let's do it.
Get rid of that.